Hello and good morning. My name is Jason Coyle, Operations Section Chief for Southwest Area Team 1. Today is June 10th, and this is your morning operational update for the North Zone of the Calf Canyon Hermits Peak fires. Before I get to the numbers, I recognize that we're late this morning putting up the update, and the reason for that is that we've been working aggressively in coordinating for the delivery of the fuel wood that's being removed from the indirect lines, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But I just want to say that I don't anticipate that delay occurring in the future, so we should be able to be posted at 9 o'clock, like you've been accustomed to in the days going forward. So last night's IR showed the fire at 319,841 acres. That's an increase of 300 acres. So the only increase on the fire was in the southern zone where the old Trampas fire scar was. This area to the west was primarily where that growth occurred. And it is still within their line there, going up the ridge near Hamilton Mesa. And that there was no growth in the northern zone at all. So the fire is now 67% contained. That's up 2%. As a reminder, 1% is 6.35 acres, or roughly 10 kilometers. So going up 2% means that 20 more kilometers of perimeter was contained. So sounds small as a percent. When you look at it as a number, I think you can see that that's representative of a lot of work that's occurring out on the line there. All right, so I'll talk about the contingency line efforts that are going on right now first. So work is continuing on those contingency lines, and what that work looks like, because we just keep saying work's continuing. It's been a while since I've talked about what exactly it looks like. Is that the initial thing that has to occur if there's not a road where the line is, which in many of those areas there wasn't, is that the dozers go in there and they push the vegetation out of the way at road width, and then before you can start moving all the other equipment in there, you actually have to make that into a passable road. And not a road that's passable by a pickup truck, but a road that's passable by heavy equipment and by low boys. So then that work occurs, and then the feller bunchers go in there. So if you haven't seen a feller buncher, I'm not sure I can describe one very well, but basically a spinning saw with some claws on the side of it that can grab a tree, give it a hug with the claws, and then cut it off at its base, and then set it down on its side. And then those logs are skidded to a landing, and then they're processed there where all the branches are taken off, and they're cut into lengths so they can be transported. So all that work has to take place in a certain order, and then that material can get moved out of there, and we'll talk about the moving it out of there part later on. But a lot of good work is going on out there to make sure that line is completed, and that the mess we made when we hurriedly pushed in parts of it is cleaned up. But that work is continuing to go on, and also the suppression repair effort. So a little bit about the suppression repair. The reason that we engage in suppression repair is that we want to minimize the damage from post-fire effects secondary to the damage that we did with suppression. That's primarily why we're doing it right now. And so post-fire effects in the Southwest is just a not so descriptive way of saying the monsoons. I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but that damage from the monsoons, when you get those heavy rains on areas where we've removed all the vegetation, we've created channels for water to get tracked on, can create big problems. It can create life-threatening big problems on large areas of when there's large areas that are severely burned that are on steep slopes. And just fixing the repair damage doesn't take care of all that. The other part of it is the burned area emergency response, or BEAR as we call it. They're going in there and they're identifying the work that needs to be done, and in some cases, depending on land ownership, they're actually looking at how to conduct some of that work. But the suppression repair work is it's important, and it's important right now that we get it done in a timely manner, because the monsoons hopefully are right around the corner. So what that means is that, especially when it comes to private land, is you have to confirm with the state of New Mexico. It's within the scope of our duties to be able to go onto those private lands and do the work that needs to be done to do that repair. We only want to do it if the landowners want it done, and we most certainly don't want to do anything that is going to make people upset. If we can't get a hold of people, we also don't want to delay the work. So what that means is that if there's a lock gate or something on the property, then we're not going to go on there. If we have access to the property, we see the work that's going to be done, we're going to try to contact somebody. If we can't, we're going to get the work done so we keep moving on, because we can't bounce back and forth, or we won't get everything we need to get done before it rains. So if you happen to have one of those pieces of property that it's not locked and you see people in there doing that work, if you don't want them doing the work to repair what we broke, fix the fences, take care of the dozer line that maybe goes through your property, just let them know. We'll be happy to move on. But the intention is to help protect your property by getting that work done in a timely manner. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that'll allow you to have a little bit of empathy. If you get there and you're frustrated with everything else that's going on, you see that people are doing work there, just ask them nicely to leave if you don't want that work done, and they'll be happy to move on to the next place. So anyways, and the last thing I want to talk about was the fuel wood delivery and where we're at with that. We had another meeting this morning that was specifically designed for working out some more of those logistics about how we're going to get that fuel wood delivered to the communities and what role each one of the different participants in the coordination of that effort play. So we still don't have it all figured out. Well, we're getting closer. And hopefully over the next several days, maybe even the next few days, that we will have that all figured out. We'll be able to give you a clear plan on what's going on, so you know in your community that's been impacted where you can go and you can secure some of that material to heat your home in the winter. I told you yesterday I've burned wood my whole life. I used to haul wood to make money when I was in high school and after that even. And I just want to say one more time, I get it. You waiting until after the monsoons, if I were in that situation, to say, well, as long as they get it delivered before winter, then I can cut it up, do that. I know that doesn't work. I know it doesn't work to not split any of the wood ahead of time to make sure it's dried. I know that when you try to burn wet wood in the wintertime, especially if you have an old chimney, you're more prone to getting creosote, doesn't vent right. It's a pain. And so we recognize all that, and we're really working hard to make sure that we can get that material to a location where you have access to it as quickly as we can, knowing that the clock's ticking for the monsoons on this and on the other parts I was talking about. So that's it for the operational update this morning, and hopefully that answers some of the questions. If there's anything else that you have questions or concerns about, please put them in the chat, and then our excellent PIOs, public information officers, will let me know what's going on and what some of the questions are, and we'll make sure that we get them answered so we keep y'all informed. All right, thank you, and have a good day.